Greetings, Victorians, and welcome to patch 1.7. Releasing alongside the Sphere of Influence DLC, the free 1.7 patch changes many aspects of the game, so let's cover them. A new journal entry is available for unrecognized major powers. Called Earning Recognition, it is a diplomatic method of gaining your great power status in the world. Filling the progress bar for this journal entry can be achieved through these listed actions. Several other journal entries have been updated: the Spectre Haunting the World, Divided Monarchies from Voice of the People, The Matter of Slavery, and Populous Unrest from Colossus of the South. The Diplomatic tab has been updated. While previously it was for viewing information, now you'll be able to find a convenient place to manage your subjects, including new subject interactions, found here. On the main menu, you'll find new quick buttons for the Wikipedia, the forums, YouTube, and Discord. The right-click contextual menus, while useful, were becoming cluttered, so now they've been updated to include drop-down menus. If we head over to our Buildings tab, down at the bottom you'll be able to find the new building registry. Here you can find some useful information about all of your buildings alongside sortable toggles. In this example, let's sort by buildings in Morocco, only rural buildings in Morocco, and finally only rural buildings in Morocco not owned by Moroccans. If we look at our cotton plantations in Fez, we have several different owners, including some American aristocrats over in Colorado. Some back-end improvements have been made to tooltips. Here you can see an example of an old tooltip and a new cool tip providing the same information, but in a more clear manner. The confirmation pop-ups for diplomatic actions have been changed to make the outcomes more clear to the player. 85 historical characters have been added to the game thanks to modder Galactic Cactus, including Maximilian von Spee, Herbert Kitchener, and Karl Friedrich Emmett zu Donna Schlobitten. Financial sectors and manor houses have their 2D and 3D art places in the game, and will vary based on culture. The flow of goods is also now shown visually on the map. Here we can see that our glassworks in Marrakesh are using lead from the mines of Inner Morocco, the orange line. The finished glass is being used in our urban centers around the nation, the green lines, and the profits are being sent back to private owners in Fez, the yellow lines. Diplomatic catalysts have been added and are a new feature in 1.7. A catalyst, simply put, is a positive or negative event that might spark some political intrigue. Examples of catalysts are relations between two countries increasing by a full level, a subject having their autonomy decreased, two countries ending up on the same side in a diplomatic play, one country reforming its government and becoming significantly ideologically divergent from another country's government, a country declaring another country their rival, or a country breaking off a mutually negotiated diplomatic pact. Once a catalyst has occurred, political lobbies have a chance to form in reaction to the events. Here we see that the Spanish treaty port in North Africa has sparked the formation of the Anti-Spanish Society, a powerful lobby made up of 5 different interest groups, all with a similar mindset when it comes to Spain. But failure to appease them has led to a hit to their approval of my government. Let's change that by declaring an embargo on Spain. Our approval has now gone up, and here we can find a list of all the things that will increase or decrease the appeasement of political lobbies. You can now start a new diplomatic play while still engaged in an existing war. 4 additional strategies have been added for AI subject nations. Break free, the AI will attempt to become independent of their overlord. Increase self-reliance, the AI attempts to increase their autonomy and become less dependent on their overlord, but will not seek outright independence. Maintain autonomy, the AI wants to maintain their autonomy and relationship with their overlord. Integrate with suzerain. The AI wants closer integration with their overlord and will loyally comply with their wishes. With high enough liberty desire, multiple subjects can now turn against their overlord and rebel together for freedom. Economic dependence is a new mechanic that determines how dependent subject nations are on their overlord's market or power block. The greater the buy/sell orders for the overlord, the greater the economic dependence and thus the lower liberty desire. 2 new subject interactions have been added in the free patch. Increase autonomy, previously available only as a diplomatic demand, allows you to more gently request an increase to your autonomy when your liberty desire is high enough. Should the overlord decline this request, the subject can then demand full independence. And demand state. If your overlord controls a state that is adjacent or a homeland to you, directly or through another subject, you can demand they give you that state under certain conditions. Additionally, diplomatic actions for support independence and guarantee independence have been added. Also, calling an ally into a war now gives them a war goal of their choosing. Overlords can now side with their subjects during revolutions, so that when subjects are going through their communism phase, your bastion of free market profiteering isn't obligated to side with them. And unidirectional truces, i.e. a truce that only prevents one side from attacking the other, have been added. Building ownership has changed across the board. Capitalists and aristocrats no longer work directly in your buildings, but reside in manor houses and financial districts. Ownership production methods have been removed, and ownership works on a per-building level basis, so mixed ownership is possible. Here, we can see that our capitalists in Fez own a diverse portfolio of dozens of different buildings. Their explosive factory in Fez is the most productive, but the fertilizer plants feeding them are paying the highest dividends. They also own a number of buildings over in Benin, whom we have an investment agreement with. Profits from these buildings go into their cash reserve, which they will use at their own discretion, mostly to build more buildings to make more profit. Which brings us to ownership. Buildings can now either be worker-owned, where profits will be split between the workforce, privately owned by the manor house or financial districts that is, where the profits are kept by the owners, and country-owned, where the buildings are built by the state and the dividends are sent back to the treasury. We can change building ownership as well through nationalization and privatization. Nationalization will force the owners to sell the building to the state, but create radicals in the process. Privatization will sell government-owned assets to whoever can pay. Foreign investment is fairly simple in 1.7. Overlords can invest in buildings inside their subjects. The goods are sent to either the subject's market or the joint market between them, and the dividends are returned to the overlord. Privately owned buildings can also undergo downsizing. If they are unable to meet employment demands, there will be a 12-month warning period, giving the player a chance to react to the market conditions that led to this situation. Otherwise, the building will reduce one level at a time until the employment demands are met. Power blocks are new to 1.7. You can read all about them in Dev Diaries number 109 and 118. But in a pinch, they are simply multinational organizations led by a major power or a great power. One change that you will notice alongside power blocks are that custom unions are no longer simply a diplomatic pact. A power block with the Trade League identity will operate in a similar manner and is available to all players for free. The leader of a power block can influence other nations to join their power block, or perhaps even leave an opposing power block through leverage. Leverage is gained on a country by having an active interest in that country, having positive relations and pacts with them, siding with them in a diplomatic play, through lobbies, economic dependence, and adjacency through a direct border or a treaty port. Leverage will trend towards zero over time, so you need to keep it up, and high infamy will reduce leverage. Players on 1.7, but without Sphere of Influence, will have access to the Trade League identity when forming a new power block. But if you start as a nation with a historical power block, you can use the other identities as well. Migration laws have been changed, and now only apply to pops moving into or out of your country. For instance, closed borders will prevent pops from leaving or entering your country, but will not prevent pops from moving between states. A new religious map mode has been added. Culture map mode now shows minority cultures as well. There have been many map changes to America, Australia, Russia, Central Asia, Persia, and East Asia. The Baltic governance now exist as Russian puppets. There's been the addition of more straits around Tierra del Fuego to sort out some colonization wonkiness. And finally, Confucianism has been added for Korea, China, and Vietnam. Thank you for watching, everybody, and we hope you enjoy patch 1.7.